a choice right now, between fear and love. It's just a rock.
Out of the dark night of ignorance and into the shining light of truth.
Expounding reality.
A population of citizens capable of critical thinking.
We don't see things as they are, we see them as we are.
There's a level of reality where everything dissolves into an ocean of energy.
We empower our experience by insisting on our authenticity.
That's very profound. Very.
Expanding reality.
Welcome to Expanding Reality. I am your host, Brandon Thomas. On this very special episode, we have part 2 of Bo's ayahuasca healing journey. This is the integration session, and of course, the great and powerful Carlos Tanner joins us for this one as well. This conversation, guys, absolutely fascinating. The change that Bo has undergone through this treatment is absolutely remarkable. He is not the same guy. You will notice it from part 1 to this part, just the way that he articulates his experience, the way that his new awareness is in life, it's mind-blowing. So all the ways, of course, to find Bo, if you guys would like to let him know and show him some love on his Instagram there, how much you appreciate him sharing his story and just show him some love and support, it'll be located down in the show notes. As well, of course, guys, for the Ayahuasca Foundation, the facility that Carlos Tanner is the program director of, that Bo went to go undertake this incredibly powerful healing. So all the ways, guys, again, are located down in the show notes to find both of these gentlemen. Before we get to the conversation that's unbelievable, just mind-blowing, so we're going to get to it. Food Forest Abundance, check the show notes down there for that resource link, as well as Libsyn if you'd like to start your own podcast, as well as Amazon if you're going to feed that beast at all, run it through our link, it helps the show. Also down there, guys, is going to be Opus, the organization for paranormal understanding and support for all of your paranormal needs. Got time slips, abduction phenomena, contact them, they can absolutely help you guys out. Also, just kind of wanted to say something here. I, am not in the habit of asking for help, so I'm going to change that right now. If you guys check the link marked Called to Action down there, that would be a massive, massive help, and you will understand why whenever you take a look at that, and I thank you in advance for your support, guys. Truly grateful for this audience. Y'all are incredible. Okay, so located down in the show notes as well is going to be expandingrealitypodcast.com. Check that thing out. That's going to link you to all of our socials. The merchandise is there if you want to rep the threads, as well as the lives are replayed there. The Too Hot for YouTube is there. All the collaboration shows that I've been grateful to be a part of and all the panel discussions on other folks' amazing shows has just been amazing. So it's all linked there, guys. So check that out for sure. Okay, I think that's about it. So let's get to this incredible conversation, guys. I'm just so grateful that Bo shared this. I'm so grateful that Carlos joined us, and the change is miraculous. So without any further ado, this is Carlos Tanner and Bo Shaftnoski. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming back, we have part 2 of Bo's magical transformation with ayahuasca healing, and here Bo is. Look at him, fresh-faced. I'm so grateful. We've already spoken a couple of times on the phone since you've gotten back and when you were on your way back, and man, just a total transformation. So I cannot wait to get into this with you guys, and of course, we're joined by Carlos Tanner. How are you, Carlos?
I'm doing great. It's good to see you again.
Hell yeah. Just so grateful, guys. Great feedback on the first round. People just can't wait to see what your integration's all about. And so that's what we're going to do this evening. But Bo, how are you feeling, man? It's good to see you.
I feel like a million ducks all quacking at once. It's great. I feel lighter. Ever since session 3, I feel like way lighter, and I've been like way more focused and way more like one with the universe. I guess great. Would be a one way to say it. I do feel more present, more aware, definitely more aware, more present, more blessed, more just rejuvenated.
Well, like I said, you could tell. You could totally tell just in the way that you speak about things, just everything about it, man. I've known you for a long time, and this transformation's been incredibly impressive for me. So, Carlos, well done, man. And like I said, a lot of great feedback, guys. So I'm really excited to get into this integration session with you. So, Carlos, I'll just turn it over to you, brother.
All right. Thanks so much. Yeah, good to connect again, Bo, and so glad to hear that you feel good, that you had a positive experience. I talked to my staff too. They all had wonderful things about your group. There were like, I think some similarities that you probably resonated with some of the other people in the group, which always is the case. But yeah, I'm just so happy to hear that it went really well for you. So let's see if we can like keep that going and not just like maintain it, but expand on it, increase it, deepen it, amplify it, make it better, and keep it going. So one of the important things that we talked about in the preparation was recording your thoughts, your ideas, your insights, the experiences that you were having, the lessons that you were learning. So did you have a chance to record that in some way? I know that you brought some video equipment with you and stuff. So were you writing things down? Were you filming it? Were you doing a personal diary, or what was that process for you like?
It was kind of a mess. I was all over the place. It was, a lot to process, but I probably got about 25, 30 pages of journal written. I've got, I don't know, hours and hours of footage. A lot of it's just me talking to the camera in my room and sitting out on the porch or in the hammock chatting with myself, early in the morning, stuff like that. Yeah, right. I documented a whole lot of it and walked myself through remembering everything. It's weird how like after each session, it'll all just be this big thing. And then you'll still remember new things later that, oh yeah, I remember that. I'd forgotten about that. That was just like a snippet in time in this massive journey, but it was impactful, and then it comes to you. Anyway, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I
do. Well, that's why I recommend writing things down too, because sometimes it just comes in and out like remembering a dream. And if you don't record it, you run the risk of maybe not remembering it. I'm so glad that you have so much of that material. Now, 1 week ago, you had just come back from the jungle. You were still in Iquitos at the hotel, like exactly 1 week from right now. So it's only been a week, which I would totally understand, but how much, or have you like gone and read what you've written or what you wrote, or have you had a chance to start, like sifting through or looking at the videos?
A little bit, just a hair. Frankly, I've just been immersed in the world around me, and trying to, I don't know, recalibrate, I guess, just like, I don't know.
I'm not saying that you should. I was just saying that it's only been a week, so it's totally understandable. I just want to see where you're at, because all that material is gold. Those are the tools that you're going to use to help you to maintain and expand this. So I just wanted to see where you were at in that process. It's totally fine and understandable to like just want to come back to earth and be with your family and just kind of chill for a bit. And I think that's a good idea too.
Yeah, I've journaled a page or two. I mean, like in reflection, sitting in an airport, I had kind of a difficult time getting back. I had a couple of rescheduled flights and stuff, so it was a thing getting it through customs and everything. But it is what it is. I maintained a very positive attitude. I was actually, it could have been terrible and awful, but I did not fluster me. That was one of the noticeable things, is like, I'll get back.
Night. By any chance,
through it.
Did you write that? It didn't fluster you, like, by any chance? Was that like a piece of what you journaled?
No, actually, it was not what I was journaling. I was trying to remember like pieces of my final ayahuasca trips, our sessions.
For point of reference, like 1 week ago, you were in Iquitos having come back. 1 week and 1 day ago, you were getting ready to go to the last ceremony. So in terms of like understanding, there were 5 ceremonies over the course of 10 days for the people listening. And I heard you mention like that the 3rd ceremony, which is smack dab in the middle of the retreat, was kind of the turning point for you, which
was magic.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I think that your listeners would probably want to hear some about that. I don't really interest myself too much with the details of that personal experience, but I'm happy to like talk about it a little bit if the listeners want to or, I'm sure they're real curious about it. But maybe we can just reframe it in a way that will work towards the integration process. Okay. So if you were to try to sum up like some of the most important changes you felt or realizations you came to or insights that you had, like would there be a way for you to try to speak to that?
Yeah. I was very methodical from our first session. I mean, you guided me through, a very good way of structuring, my intentions night by night. I wanted to phase it where, I did it chronologically. I with the earliest, most impactful and most present, sort of traumas and emotional burdens to deal with first, which was my dad, which is both the earliest and the latest, issues I had, and I let him go. Oh my God. It was so cool. It was one of those things where I wanted to remember my father and give him all of the credit and honor and that he deserved. I didn't want to carry anything negative around with me anymore. He doesn't deserve that, right? We want to remember the people at their very best and for their very best. And I think that's how we honor our fathers and mothers, after they're gone, is to just cherish the positives and release any and all judgment and all that. I did it, man. I met the, all my goals with that. I got to see my dad like as a young man and like as fittest and healthiest. My first memory, like when I think about him now, it's that young man. It's the young, healthy man. It's not the sickly old guy in bed that was just a tragedy, right? I remember it was so cool. He was wearing these short, like 70s style yellow shorts, which were terrible, but he loved them, and a white t-shirt. And he just was like smiling at me with like this acceptance and love. It's like, I just got this sense that he knew everything and he loved me no matter what. And it was just beautiful. I was crying like a baby. It was magic, man. It was, I actually saw like, it was almost like pictures drifting by in my brain with like in Harry Potter, how the pictures kind of move and interact. It was like it was kind of like that in my head. He was like, it was with my dad. It was like he was almost there, like in the distance, like probably 10 feet from me. With my grandpa and my granddad, it was like pictures drifting across my vision, and they just smiled at me in the same sort of sense of love and acceptance and we miss you sort of vibe. They didn't say anything. I didn't hear anything auditorily.
Right.
So that was great. That was a huge dump of emotions. I mean, I immediately felt better, and I could describe all of the very vivid visualizations and all the things that happened during that time in detail. But wow. Well, it's suffice it to say, it's I felt like in a lot of ways, like it was the trauma got sort of sucked out of me, so to speak, like out of my chest in my heart area, like the weight inside my chest, like lessened. And that happened progressively all the way through the third. And then the second one was very much like me dealing with like areas of my life in like my teens and my 20s where I had felt like I had difficulties in relationships, and like I carried around like judgment and like trauma from things I did. And one of my issues is like was that I couldn't forgive myself. I feel like people have forgiven me. Like I feel like me and God were cool and everything, but like I don't forgive me. That's one of my big things, is I don't really ever forgive myself for anything, but I did. And I felt that immediate, intense relief when I was trying to give the ayahuasca my burdens. I wasn't trying to take anything from it. I was like, hey, you want this? I give this to you, ayahuasca. I give this to you. God, you're working together. This is your thing. Here you go. Please take it. You honor me with this, and I honor you for doing it. I was just trying to speak to it with as much respect. I mean, it's like you could feel it going through your veins, like just doing the good work, right? And you're just like, thank you. thank you. And the whole universe, you're just thanking the universe like crazy, because it's such a blessing. It's such a transformative physical thing. And I stayed very anchored to myself, and I had a few mantras. I said things like, I am in my power. I am one with the universe. I'm open to receive abundance from the universe. I release everything that does not serve me. And I name off, like, I give you my judgment for this. I give you my judgment for that. I give you my regrets for this. I give you my burdens for this. I mean, I was going down the list, and it was just, I was staying focused. I was able to stay very on point, very focused, very motivated, and very, I don't know. It was a very, very intimate thing. It was me and God and the ayahuasca, and we were just aligned, and the forest spirits. I broke my fear of snakes. That was cool. There was a spirit of a snake, anaconda in my dreams, and I had that snake thing, and me and the anaconda are cool now. we became buddies. I was very Indiana Jones on the first one. I was like, why did it have to be snakes, but no. It was fine. It was totally fine. It was benevolent. It was wonderful. Honestly, it was magic. And by the third one, I had dumped so much of my internal garbage, and I was dealing with the current me. I went from like the childhood, young adult, and then adult from the last 20 years. Really is kind of what I was digging up, all the stuff for the last 20 years. And I faced that on the third night. Halfway through the ceremony, I just started crying and smiling and chuckling to myself, because it was like I felt vibration through my whole body, like from my toes to my fingers and my head. It was like everything was vibrating, and I felt like I was glowing. And I was just like, this is what it's like to feel life without burdens, without the burdens of everything weighing on your soul. This is what it feels like to be free of all that stuff. And I cried. I must have cried 8 ounces of tears, man, just happy tears. I probably annoyed everybody afterwards. I was so chuckly. I was just like, yes, this is awesome. Very, very relieved. I can't even describe it adequately. Just how emotionally powerful that third ceremony was. How much freedom I felt. Somebody asked me, have you ever felt like this before? I said, when I was a teenager, there was a brief moment I felt this in tune with life, and I felt this optimistic and this relieved and hopeful and happy. And that's the closest I've ever been to feeling that wonderful. So yes, by 3, I was like, this is great. And then, I went to 4 and 5, session 4 and 5, trying to build toward the future, because I felt healed. I really felt healed. And I was like, okay, how does a healed Bo deal with the world? That's what I was doing on 4 and 5, is like imagining, how I wanted to progress through life, imagining what I could offer the universe, how I could move forward. And that was really cool, because I had really, really great visual notions, and I was able to stay on task, which I'm told was very hard for some, but for me, I somehow managed to do it. I stayed sort of on task and was able to correct my brain whenever it would deviate and just say, oh yeah, we were dealing with this, sorry. Yeah. And I'd kind of like apologize to the ayahuasca. I know we were talking about this. Sorry. I'm going off looking at this thing and getting distracted, and and we'd kind of turn, and I'd sort of ask it to go through me rather than feel like it was taking me somewhere, because I wanted to stay in my body and heal my body, and and be present. And I was asking it everything from, I've heard weird things about how you read articles about how people can reprogram their DNA. I'm like, if you want to take the allergies, feel free. I was making all kinds of bargains. But no, it was wonderful. It was, except for the vomiting and the stomach stuff, but it was great. Totally worth it. And
yeah, worth it, right?
Yes.
Beautiful, man. Thanks so much for sharing that. That was more than I was expecting. I'm
sorry.
No, I mean, it sounds like you it was so thorough, and that you, like, honestly, like, I resonated so much with what you were saying. For me too, there were like 3 ceremonies, and when I was going into that 4th ceremony, actually for me, my 4th ceremony was when I felt like completely healed. And then my 5th ceremony, I did 5 ceremonies too, my first time. So much of the program that you did is, you know, based on my life and my experience. And what I'm going to give you as advice now is like based on my own observations from the post like healing perspective that I had and all the lessons I learned from that. But yeah, like my 5th ceremony, I was like healing other people in the ceremony, you know, like
he did that too.
Yeah.
I was like, help that guy, you know, please just ease his discomfort or whatever, you know? Yeah. It was fun. It was beautiful because you feel like you have such an abundance of good, positive energy you can send out into the universe. And, you know, you didn't have to say a word to feel like it was happening and believe it. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted.
No, beautiful. I agree 100%. I mean, that to me is like, honestly, I think that you are at a spot where you can kind of jump ahead a bit in the integration process, because normally like I end up talking about the service to others, like as the icing on the cake, I call it, like at the end of this integration process, where you are ready to share, you know, but the integration process, as I normally lay it out, is first working more on yourself. And I'm still going to give you that advice, but also, you know, you don't have to wait to share, you know, and I already like see this and want to like jump out and just thank you, Brandon, for setting this up, because recording this is such a brilliant idea. Like, you'll be able to, Bo, will be able to like go back and watch this video, as well as maybe you've already watched the other one, but, you know, to really see like the transformation and to see like what you just described for yourself, you know, to be able to remind yourself to refresh that memory again and again, whenever you want, you know, to have that video. And I was already like, I'm going to record every session. You know, I'm not going to publish them, but I will send that to the person. You know, I'll like, hey, I recorded our session and here it is, you know, so that that's you awesome. Have it. Yeah, it makes so much sense. It's like exactly what I advise people to do, except we're doing it right now. You know, you don't have to like do it after the call. Like, we are doing it, which is to expand on those memories. You know, what happened was a week ago, but us talking about it makes a memory of what happened a week ago tonight. And tomorrow you can make another memory of what happened a week ago. And you can continue to make more and more memories of that transformation, of that feeling that you described, of that knowing of your own healing and transformation. That can be continuously remembered. And each time that you form a new memory of it, it solidifies more and more that truth as the truth of your being. And that is a big part of how I view the mechanics of the integration process, is building more and more memories of the truth that you want to be living. And eventually that will replace the memories that used to be your references for how you perceive yourself or how you respond to experiences that you have. You know, just like you were talking about not being able to forgive yourself, you know, that was like based on memories. You know, you would remember something that you felt was something that you felt bad about doing, you know, and so you wouldn't forgive yourself for a new thing because you were referring to your memories of how you didn't forgive yourself of the previous things, you know, and that's what you have a program starts to form, where you start to repeat yourself, where I'm going to respond according to my memories of how I interpreted my past experiences. And that can create this trap of where you feel like you're stuck in a program. You don't know how to get out of it. Having an experience like you just did, though, is a great way to get out of it. And now the goal is to let's make this new program. Now let's make this health-based program, this positive program, so that even if I have a challenge or a challenging situation comes my way, like the flight, which maybe would normally get you frustrated or put you into some sort of funk or negative mentality. Now you're like, I'm not going to respond that way because I have changed my program. I will respond differently because I am different. And so one of the things that you can do is, at some point, read your journal, and just reading it will establish that new memory. You'll be using your transformation memory to refresh that memory to a new one. And then what it sounds like you're already planning to do. So I don't think we need to find a plan, which would be part of a normal integration process, but I already kind of know what you're doing, which is to put together this film project. So that is brilliant, because the film project is going to have elements that are nonverbal that have to be there as well. And so you're going to be intentionally selecting music, for example. You'll intentionally be selecting certain visuals or vision, scenes that aren't of a person talking, but you will also be talking, but you'll be combining thoughts and feelings. And that's the beauty of film, is its power to evoke our thoughts and our feelings at the same time. And, that's perfect. What a perfect project. So, I would definitely recommend that you review your notes, your journal entries as the potential for voiceovers. Also freestyle it, rewrite it, keep working on it. But every time, if you make this your project, and now every day you devote time to this project, what you're really doing is solidifying deeper and deeper as your truth, the person that you know to be now as a result of doing the retreat. And so by the time you show the film, you will be the living embodiment of the message in the film. Those two things will come together in this beautiful way. And then when people see that film, they will be like, dude, thank you so much for doing that, because I can see the truth in you. I can see the truth in this project that speaks to me. And that's the part where I like to get to, in the integration process, that icing on the cake, because you'll have done this whole project to solidify the truth of your being as you should be, as you truly are. And that will be the result of doing this project. But then the icing part is that all these other people will benefit from it. And you will get to feel that gratitude that they give to you. You will get to feel how it feels to know that you're helping other people. And your story will resonate with all these other people's story. It already is. There's people watching this video right now. Maybe this person watching this video right now, when you said you can't forgive yourself, they were like, I know what that is like. I know exactly what he's talking about. But now they're seeing you, they're listening to more of the story. And now they're like, I don't have to be a slave to that program. I can do what this guy did, what he's talking about. And that plants the seed of transformation in all the people that you can touch in your lives. And that's what I do. I mean, that's what I did with my life. When I was healed, I realized, shit, I want to do this. I want to make this possible for other people. And everyone that is truly healed becomes an advocate for healing. They become a spokesperson for overcoming the obstacles that are necessary in our personal transformation. Like, you can't help but become that spokesperson because you know what it feels like. Your own gratitude insists that you share that with others, that you do your best to instill that in others. And you've got like this perfect platform to do that because you have a skill set, you have an understanding of how to share that in a really wonderful way. And this right here, like the fact that we're on Brandon's podcast talking about it is a really cool part of it.
Thank you, Brandon.
I'm like, yeah, super stoked that we got to put this together for that, for sure.
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean. Like, I remember, oh God, it was like session 3 or 4, somewhere in there. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, how many people if you could talk to and like help with this? Because I mean, geez almighty, I want to see them happy. I want to see so many people happy and free of this, because who wants to walk around like I was walking around every day? Just you don't want to feel that garbage in your soul keeping you from experiencing how beautiful the world is. The world is really awesome, and people are, they're magic. They've got so much to share and so much to give the world, and just being with other people and getting to visit with them is a treasure in its own. And and you want them to be there and enjoying that, and instead of in their head punishing themselves or remembering things that don't serve them anymore, and when they could be doing something that enriches their lives or the people that surround them. Just being there instead of in here in a negative way is just so impactful. It's everything. It's the difference between night and day. Yeah. I
hear you loud and clear on that, but I do feel like over time, and especially like with my own experiences, everybody's working on their own timeline. Yeah. And, you were working on your own timeline, and it's easy to like try to say, oh, I wish I had done this 10 years ago, but it wouldn't have been what it was. It like needed to happen on that timeline. And so, there's going to be people that you see and you're like, oh dude, like I want so badly for you to know what I know, for you to feel what I feel. But at the same time, everyone is on their journey, on their path, and it's all exactly the way it's supposed to be. And, we need to like go through whatever those challenges are. And I think that like the specifics of what we heal, like I was saying before, you become a spokesperson. You become a spokesperson for an illness, and I do mean that as it sounds. Like, you become the spokesperson for the illness that allowed you to experience the transformation of your freedom, that transformation of your liberation. And, you wouldn't have been able to have the depth of that profound experience if you hadn't had the depth of the burden. And
very well put.
And so you don't just become like a spokesperson for healing. You become a spokesperson for the affliction that brought about the healing, because you wouldn't have gone to Peru to do this if everything was moderately okay. No, you would have just like kept plodding along, like it's not too bad. And that's where everyone is somewhere on that path, where they need to get to that point where they're like, I need to do something. Yes. And if you don't get to that point but you do something, then it doesn't have the effect. It doesn't have the power, so I think it's like an important part to bring up. Everybody is on their own timeline, and that's the timeline that they need to be. But you can still be who you are. You can plant that seed so that when a person comes to that point, I need to do something. What am I going to do? Oh, I remember. Mm-hmm. that thing that Bo said when I thought he was crazy and I would never do that. Now I'm at the point, and I don't know if you even remember how you got to find me. I guess maybe through Brandon, but like that's I planted a seed somewhere, and that's what you can do. That's the best you can do. We can plant seeds. We can't make them grow. The environment and nature like makes those seeds grow when the environment is conducive, when the soil is at the right nutrient level, when it gets enough rain, when it gets enough sun, that seed will grow. But you can plant it anytime, and then nature will take care of it when the time is right.
I love what you said about the depth of it. Like, I wouldn't have gone if it hadn't gotten so bad. I would have. Yeah, I can handle this. I can tolerate this. That's what you do. That's what people do. We just, okay, it sucks, but it's okay. It'll be better tomorrow. And it's not. And you do that for decades. Maybe you might do that for decades. And I know I did. And eventually, something's got to give. And it got to the point where, I was starting to feel sick, physically ill from all the weight of the world on my chest and in my head. And it is medicine. I want to emphasize that this is not a feel good. Oh, I'm going to, because I want to feel good. No, you go through your own emotional hell during this. You're facing everything that you don't want to look at, that you avoid looking at so you can get through the day. You face all that stuff during this, and it's medicine. It helps you do that. You can't hardly avoid it. And I certainly don't want anybody out there think they're going to go out there and get some kicks. And if you do, you're wasting the time that other people that need to be healing should be there instead of you just trying to get kicks. That's not cool. That's not the atmosphere. The atmosphere is people that need to remove suffering. That's the atmosphere, and an attitude of gratitude and an attitude of growth. I mean, that's the attitude that you go in there with. It isn't party time. It's a medicine. So I really want to emphasize that you have to show it respect, because it's not a game.
That's for sure. Well, I mean, thankfully, ayahuasca does a real good job of showing everyone that. So,
yes.
If someone goes and they're like, yeah, this should be a cool party. They don't come back.
Yeah.
They are like, no, that's not, I don't know why anyone would do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the people that stay, they have the real reason to stay,
Yes.
And ayahuasca does a great job of like weeding that out.
I'll bet.
Right.
Yeah.
Beautiful, man. Well, I normally like feel like I'm working together with a person to find what I refer to as a project, so that we can like collaborate on ideas about what this project will look like. But I think with you, I think that you really know what that project will look like.
Yes.
But my recommendations would be to focus most of your attention on just being like as vulnerable as possible. Like the reason why, I'm going to guess why Brandon talked about getting really good feedback about the preparation session was because you were just open, and honest. And so in this project too, when it comes time, just like be that open and honest and treat it like it's just like the three of us hanging out, or, it's just you and the camera hanging out. Don't like, think too much about the audience, really, so that you can feel as comfortable as possible about sharing, because that's what will really connect with people. That's like what people really find to be the message that speaks to them most.
Yeah, I could see that.
But just get in there, like try your best to do it as regularly as possible. When you know that you're working on the project, and the project is the story of how you transformed your life to be the person that you know you should have been and are, then it will influence you to make your best decisions. Yes. Because you know that you're working on this project, and so like, let's say you work on it tomorrow. Well, the next day you're going to make decisions that will have been influenced on the work that you did on that project. When you're reading your journal, you're going through your notes, you're watching some of the videos, and you're watching yourself, or you're reading your thoughts, and you're saying, yeah, like, yes, that is the truth. And then the next day, whatever happens, that truth will influence your behavior, your perceptions. And then you'll know. And this is another piece of why I asked you, like, did you write down in your journal that you weren't frustrated or bothered by the delays? That's a great tip, because then you'll know, like, that it is influencing you. You'll say, like, you know what, today was a really tough day, but I handled it really well because I'm a different person. Because I don't have that burden anymore, because I'm not blaming myself anymore, because I know who I truly am, and that's not a part of it anymore. And then you record that. You can write it down. You can put it into your project the next time you go to work on that project. It becomes really like meta. Where you're working on the project, and the project becomes the work that you're doing on the project. And that is a really great tip, because that's like validation. That's like, yep, see, I acted differently today. I had that situation before. I would have acted this way. Now I acted much better. I acted in a way that I was able to let that slide. I didn't hang around in my head all day thinking about it, replaying it over and over, or whatever you used to do. And I'm fine. I'm noticeably different in a positive way. And now I record that. Maybe you do record it, or maybe you just write it down. You make a note of it. But each one of those notes is also proof. Yep, this is actually happening. This is real. I'm verifying it. That's a verification right there. I am different, and I will be different. Yeah. And then that becomes this project where you just keep it going to the point where you can't even remember. You don't even say, like, I used to be that way. Yeah, it's like, whatever. I'm just this way now. That's it.
Totally. Yeah. That's how I feel. I was at work these last 2 days. I work remotely, and I'm just doing my job, but it's like, I'm sort of at peace doing my job. Like right now, it's interesting because, usually when I come back from vacation, I'm like, oh my God, I've got this mountain of emails and yada, yada, yada. I'm not feeling that. I'm just like, okay, next. And just plodding along. And then the day's over and I'm like, okay, I'm done now. And it's really nice. It's just not letting things bothering me. For whatever reason, things aren't bothering me. And I used to let things get to me. I did. I'm not going to go back there and think about it because it doesn't serve me. And why would I think about how bad things bothered me and bring all that energy back? It's silly. I wouldn't do that. I see like the world just differently now. I kind of told folks, I was like, yeah, I'm still me in every sense of the word. I have every memory I've ever had. I know what my motivations were for everything I faced, like literally my whole history just last week and the week before. But I let go of everything that was holding me back. And now I'm just sort of interested in what I can do and who I can be from here on out. I'm not really interested in any of all that stuff. I'm interested in what I can be and how I will be and how I can deal with what's in front of me. It's really nice. It's just really nice.
How was it to see your family again?
Oh, it was wonderful. Oh my God. When I saw my daughter, I just lost it. I was like, oh, my baby girl. Yeah. I just gave her the biggest hugs. I teared up a little bit. It was awesome. I missed her the whole time I was there. I kept thinking about her. That would always make me smile. And I couldn't talk. I didn't get a SIM card for the area. I didn't get any signal at all. I was literally cut off from all my emails, all my phone calls, all my texting. And it was awesome, by the way. It was 10 days of not being in communication with the world outside of where I was, what I was doing, what I should have been thinking about. I was able to focus on everything. And I think that was wonderful in and of itself, because I was, and with the filming and stuff, I wasn't like going around shooting shots every day all the time. I would be like, oh yeah, I should probably do this every once in a blue moon. I'd spend an hour and I'd be like back to sitting in a hammock, writing in my journal, and I'm keeping up with my diet. That's one of those things that I actually was like, with the diet I'm giving up like pork and red meat for a while. And, I'm just going to keep this going. Cause I lost like almost 10 pounds. Well, it was like eight pounds while I was there. I feel great physically. Like, I don't know. I just feel clear of head, and why would I change anything? I like the food I was eating there. Why can't I make it for myself? So I'm using my Instapot and throwing chicken in there without any salt on it or anything. And I'll throw a little pepper on it, but I don't hit it with everything in the cabinet anymore. I'm loving it. I went to my normal breakfast spot and cut out the bacon, and I added some fruit, and I wasn't like, oh, I really miss that bacon. No, it was nothing to me. Changing my diet literally doesn't bother me. It's like automatic. These are things I want for myself. So why wouldn't I? Why would I want to do the other thing? It's like the whole, it's
a great example of, how we don't catch the connection, about how we feel and how it relates to how we behave, and then how we behave relates to how we feel. And that program also plays itself. And when you change the way that you feel, then you change the way that you behave.
Absolutely. Because it's like, I think in the past I viewed, like, especially food, my relationship with food was like, oh, this is a reward. I get the biggest, best, awesomest Philly cheesesteak with all the everything and raw, because I deserve this. But now it's like, okay, just another meal. This is good, and move on with my day. It's not like I have to have this reward because I've put up with all this bullshit all day. No, it's not that. I've enjoying the whole day. I don't need some massive reward to I don't know, give myself a pat on the back or something for just getting through the day. And it's interesting. It's an interesting psychological effect. Because I don't care. I simply don't care about, how zhuzhed up my food is anymore. Yeah. Not that if I go to my grandma's house and she makes some awesome stuff, I'll probably eat it. But if it's beef or pork right now, I'm not, because it's just one of those things. I want to continue with the whole, like, I don't know. They say it stays with you, right? That the ayahuasca somewhat stays with you. And I think it's kind of like my way of showing gratitude. Just continuing on with that. Like, thank you. I'm going to do this for myself because you did so much for me, God, and ayahuasca and everything,
It shows you care.
Yeah. It's just about respect, honoring what happened. And yeah.
Well, I'll give you a little tip that I've noticed in myself. Like, I love simple foods forever now, but I also love, like, the art of simple foods.
Yeah.
So even if I'm just going to make a fruit salad, I will be like really, like, meticulously conscious of how I cut the fruit, like how I display it in the bowl. Like I make it like something where I want to be like, I made that,
Yeah.
But it's much more about like the artistry of it, because I still just want it to be simple. But I think it's easier to like make something artistically beautiful when it's simple. But that would be like my recommendation, because I fucking love doing that. Like I make myself this super simple meal, 2 ingredients or something, but I like make it look real beautiful, and then I want to eat it. I like want to eat it, and it's not so much about like what it's got in it as what I put into it. And I think that's what I've learned a lot about the healing tradition, is that it's an art form. And I think that we've lost sight of like what art form is in its importance in our lives. And it's a heart form, because it's something that brings our heart into what we're doing. And, you talk about like, oh, my grandmother, she like, her meals taste so good because she puts love into them. That's a reality, because it's a heart form. Her food she's still making it art. And when I make grilled cheese for my daughter, like I put that heart into it, whatever it is. And we can do that for ourselves too.
Absolutely. And I was thinking about this too. It's like, I'm a pretty good cook. And like, instead of, throwing all the butter in there, I just add some cilantro, add some lime. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff I like that's healthy. Why wouldn't I include healthy things when, it's a substitution thing. You don't have to deny yourself things you love. Just, include some of the other things you love. I don't know.
That's true too, man. I mean, you obviously do whatever resonates with you, but I've got some like pistachio ice cream in my freezer right now. It's not like I don't do something I don't like. I will say that it's from like this local dairy farm down the street. So it's dope, like pistachio ice cream. But like I do eat food that whatever isn't super healthy for me, but I don't do it all the time.
I'm not judging anybody who would. I'm just saying that for me, this is a thing, because I come from like, I don't know. I had an unhealthy relationship with some food. Psychologically, I think. And this is just a denial of that for me, because I want to have a better relationship with food.
Well, it's your relationship with you, really, Yeah. And that just goes far beyond. The food is an easy one. It's one of the most common ones, but there's so many ways that we create that system of reward, or create that system of debauchery, or however we justify it, and whatever we're dealing with. But it's really like our relationship with ourselves. And if you heal that relationship with yourself, which sounds like you've been doing some great work on, then naturally your behavior is going to reflect that. And and that's like another part of like why you want to keep maintaining that, keep going further, keep deepening that, and solidifying and validating the changes that have happened become a confirmation that you're headed in the right direction, and it motivates you to keep doing that work and keep making those changes and keep observing and noticing that the changes are happening, so that you keep that validation process. You just keep that project rolling.
Yeah.
But I'm so proud of you, man. It sounds like you just had a fantastic experience, and I'm really happy that it all went so well for you.
And I could not thank your staff enough. They were fantastic. I mean, wonderful, wonderful human beings. Just, I feel so blessed to have met them. I mean, they went above and beyond. They're just absolutely fabulous people. Yeah.
I agree 100%. Yeah, it's a sad day. That was Nick's last retreat.
Cool guy.
Maybe we can give a shout out to Nick Lewis, his album Halfway to the Beginning. Check it out on Bandcamp. But yeah, I love Nick so much. He's been a friend of mine for over 10 years, and I wish him all the best of luck. I did just today, though, rope him back into a retreat in September. So he will come back to do one more retreat, and that will give me a chance to say a goodbye in person to him, which I didn't get a chance to do. So yeah. Thanks.
Such a great guitarist. Oh my God. His
Phenomenal.
skills are incredible. It's like he's got 10 fingers. It's
I'm pretty sure he does.
I'm just saying that just that finger picking thing. He's a master at that.
Very talented artist for sure.
Well, I'll make sure to link him in the show notes for damn sure. So we'll link that album
Nice.
and everything and how to find him. But very cool. Very fucking cool, man. I just wanted to hop in and say, Carlos, thank you for what you did for my buddy. Like, it's just such a different person in all the best way. All the things I wanted him to see in himself, he came back from Peru and now he's just doing it. And it's just thank you for what you did and for what you continue to do for this man and for his daughter and his family. I mean, you change his life, you change everyone's life he comes into contact with. So it's an amazing thing what you're facilitating. So thank you for sure, brother, for that. And Bo, thank you so much for sharing this with everyone. You have no idea the impact, the feedback people have been talking about this episode and your journey. And thank you so much for sharing it. And I've got so many people looking for Carlos's, website. They're like, how do I go? How do I go down there? So I know you're already booked, but you're about to be very booked. You've just done such a wonderful thing, Bo, for everyone, shining a light on, an avenue for healing. And it's just, to see you, dude, it's just, I'm sitting here hearing you talk and I'm just blown away. Absolutely blown away, man. It's just such a transformation. I'm so grateful. It's just incredible. So just thank you both again, man. This is amazing.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Brandon, also for setting this up. It was a brilliant idea. And I'm definitely going to incorporate this and record my Zoom sessions that I do to give to people so they can review them themselves. Maybe they'll decide to publish them if they want to too.
Yeah. I'm grateful to be of service. Thank you guys for giving me the opportunity, honestly. But just super cool, man. I wanted to ask, Bo, just a couple things about what you were talking about, do you mind just sharing trip 3 with us, your session 3, that what was so impactful about it?
Oh, just, it's kind of making peace with my current state of affairs and how that all came about. And just the little steps along the way that brought me to where I was, just one step after another, just forgiving myself for all the missteps, all the judgment I've been putting. That was another thing. Forgiving yourself for all you quit judging yourself, and to quit carrying around regret, because it doesn't do a thing for you. And so, yeah, I saw one thing after another, and I just kept saying, thank you for showing this. I give this away, and I'd feel it leave me. I'd feel it actually leave me. And, and I had this unification of self. And I had a very profound moment where I very much was aware that I am a spirit. I am not my mind. I was one of those people. I grew up in a very strict religious background where everything was somewhat a sin, and I even would make my thoughts sins to myself and judge myself for my thoughts. And in that third session, I really fully 100% understood that my soul and my mind and my body are 3 very separate things, that I am my soul. I'm this genderless entity that is eternal and vast and part of source. I am not, just this body in this time with this mind that it's just running. It's giving me feedback all the time. It's a machine. It's recording everything. It's giving me feedback based on past impressions. It's going to spit out data at me all the time. And some of the data it spits out on you, spits out at you isn't good. It's not, this isn't who you are. It's just data. And I was like, oh my God, that's not me. And that was a huge relief, because that means I don't have to judge myself for every bad thought I've ever had. That means I don't have to, every time I feel like I'm an asshole for thinking a thing, I have to be like, oh, that was silly. That's all you have to do. And because you're not that, you're this soul. You're this soul that has good intentions and good actions
And it's not doing the shitty thing that came in your head. This is who I am. It's not this mind. It's not this body. This is who I am. And this is awesome. This soul I am is awesome. And it's wonderful. It deserves happiness, and it deserves peace, and it deserves joy. And I felt it all. The universe was like, yes. And just blam, just like a blast of light through my whole body. I just felt like, you got it. And it's just like this oneness, this awakening of like, this is how sweet life can be. This is how powerful your soul can feel. This is how vibrant life can be, instead of just being stuck in your shell and evaluating old programs in the database. It's not about that. And I felt very like one with God and one with the ayahuasca. I was like, thank you so much, God. Thank you so much, ayahuasca. Thank you so much, forest spirits. I was like thanking the room in my head. I was like, thank all you people that have like helped me during this week. I was like thanking, I was like doing shout outs to you guys. I was in my head. I was just like thanking just everybody I had ever experienced anything. Oh my God. I was so full of gratitude. I was just pouring tears, just with gratitude and joy. I mean, pure joy. Oh my God. If I could bottle that and let people feel that joy, I would give it away, and just God, and I'd want everybody to feel that. It was magic, man. It was amazing.
Which is
so profound.
Yeah. And it's interesting to what you said about the abundance of good, positive energy earlier. And it sounds like what you experienced is kind of this, whenever you had a thought that you judged yourself for because you didn't understand or you didn't have the perspective that you do now, the awareness of how you feel comfortable looking at it, then it just stacks one on top of the other. And if you think about every single damn thought you've ever had from the time that you started feeling that way until the time you didn't, then you think of this massive just tumor or this hoarded pile of just nonsense that's sitting there. But with one awareness, with this feeling of that you're not your body, that this unity consciousness idea that you're outside of this and it's just some sort of vehicle that you're driving around here for the time. That one awareness erased all of those things. They turned into little bubbles and immediately evaporated upon impact. Like, how incredible is that process of clearing? Because you didn't go one by one by one. You went to everything with the new awareness that fell under that category that had stacked up for so damn long, and it just went away. That's fascinating to me, man. And your perception of
very
it. Very
poof, because it wasn't, because they weren't even things. They were just, they didn't hold meaning anymore. There wasn't meaning there. They were just transient things that went through a head. It's like looking at an image on a screen. I mean, that's what the value of those thoughts were, that were holding me, that were trying to hold on. I was holding on to garbage. It's like just taking all the garbage in your trash and just leaving it in your house and just letting it accumulate. Why would you do that? It comes across. It's what happens. It goes. It has to go. Has to go somewhere. Otherwise, if you're keeping it around, there's no room for you anymore. You're not going to see things what you need to see around you because you filled it up with garbage. And that's kind of the metaphor. Yeah.
In that metaphor, though, there's a version of you that thought that was okay, or that decided that garbage in your home was fine, at a certain level. Now, maybe it was one of these that added up over time things, but what I'm saying is there's a version of you now that sees it for what it is. But the best part about this is that version isn't judging the old version of you and still getting stuck in the decisions that scattered garbage about. You just go, you know what? Cool. So number one, you realize it and then instantly forgive yourself and heal it all at the same time. Again, this is incredible. Just psychologically, what you've just articulated here has just such a massive impact on you. And again, back to the abundance of good, positive energy, that's what you're left over with, because if you want to look at it like you only got so much energy, well, fill the scale with the type of energy that you want, pack it with that. And what you did was you evaporated, you made, you took these things away, and now what's left is abundance of positive energy. And that's crazy cool, man. I mean, the manifestation law of compensation, you had to get rid of something to make room for something else. And so you just balance the scales in that way. Fascinating, dude. I'm just so powerful. Like that one little thing has just such a massive impact on everything. Super cool, dude.
It did. It felt like you were full to bursting with joy. It was weird. I'm just going to say it's weird because I've never experienced it physically before. The physical manifestation of being actually full, like to bursting of joy and gratitude. It was wild. It was wild and wonderful. I mean, I'm not kidding at all about feeling like even my fingers and toes, everything just felt like they were vibrating. And it wasn't in a bad way. It wasn't like oh shit, I'm about to vibrate off this floor or anything. It was just like, wow, crazy. I am full of crazy energy. And it is amazing. and I was just laying there, just like in my head, like, and it's like I could feel myself glowing. It was that's what it felt like. It felt like it was glowing and vibrating. And I was just like pushing out the good vibes all across the world. I mean, and it's weird. I don't know how, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and describe it, even though it might sound a little weird. So I got this impression in my head, at least at this time, that there was no space between me and everybody else in the world. Like I could face everybody. And so I'd be like, I'd pull up your face and then, thank you, Brandon. Pull up Carlos's, thank you, Carlos. It's like I could bring everybody to just like being right in front of me. It was a weird thing I did, but I did. I was like, thank you so much. I was like, you can do this. I was pulling up the people in the room and I was like, you can do this. You're going to do great. It was very giddy. I was very giddy and happy and pushing out the love.
When they say that gratitude is the highest expression, the closest thing to divinity that you can get is the vibration of gratitude. It's not overjoy, it's not ecstasy, because all of those things need to be temporary for you to enjoy them. But gratitude, you can have all the time about anything, and it's an endless supply, but it's the highest form vibrationally, is what they say. And I tend to subscribe to that. And so it's just this overabundance of joy and elation and gratitude is most important is so cool, dude. And I love also, just back to something that you said about your elaborately flavored food was something that you used as a reward to deal with bullshit. But once you cleared up the bullshit, you rewarded your body with simple food as a reward for that. So it's interesting that, the perspective just switched 180 degrees, but it took clearing out the reason that you felt that you needed elaborately flavored food to be happy, for that, desire to go away. Again, like you said earlier, Carlos, which was brilliantly put, you're more of an advocate for the thing that you don't want, because then that makes you strive to be better in all areas. It just shines a light on all of the things. And this is what I say about ayahuasca personally. It's like a bullshit meter is ramped to 11. You can't deal with it. You just handle it and you move forward with it because it won't let you. It's kind of this incessant, hey, you need to pay attention to this. Hey, this does not serve you. Excuse me, sir. Quit ignoring me. This does not serve you, until you finally release it. And it's wonderful. And it does continue to work with you. It's fascinating, man.
Yeah. And not in a negative way. It's not like motivating you with guilt or judgment. It's motivating you with, oh, this would be nice. This is a good thing to do. It's not negative at all. Yeah. It's weird how I feel like
unconditional.
Yes. You have unconditional love for yourself and you want yourself to be the best, happiest, highest version of yourself. Absolutely, Carlos. And that's beautiful. I feel that. I feel like, all right, Bo, you've got the best chance you've ever had right now. You got the best chance you've ever had to be who you've always wanted to be. And you already are. You're already there. I already am that guy. I already am who I want to be. I was telling my wife that. I was like, I know who I am and I know who I want to be. And I'm very happy with the journey. I'm going to enjoy the heck out of the journey. That's the way this is.
I love the term blessed. Yeah. I say it all the time. I just feel so blessed. And I love the meaning of the term because it it's just like I get to experience this. Like somebody gave me this, God gave me this life to live, and I am just so thankful for it. It's like a statement of gratitude, but I don't try to take responsibility for it. It's like, I'm just blessed. Like I got to be me, I got to live this life. And then what you were talking about, recognizing your own divinity or recognizing your true self to be your spirit or your soul, then you see everyone. That's everyone, that's every tree, that's every plant, that's every animal, that's every person, that's every cloud. It's just like, it totally changes the game. And then you're like, that's what they mean by it's all an illusion, like I get it now.
There's not separation. Yeah. We're all very much part of this oneness. Yeah.
I think maybe we can all like give a real proper shout out to not just Don Rono Lopez, the curandero, the Shipibo curandero, but the Shipibo culture for preserving such an incredibly powerful healing tradition. And then also to recognize that all of our ancestors practiced some form of tradition that was very, very similar, that was deeply rooted in the experience of divinity. All of shamanism was rooted on the personal experience of divinity. And unfortunately, it was replaced by our religions, which took out the experience part. And then it turned into like this dogma. But, you don't have to go that far back to where all of our ancestors were all experiencing what you got to experience, Bo, where they saw the true behind the curtain reality of spirit, and that allowed them to be grateful. And that's why shamanism is always tied to the gratitude that we have for the elements of nature, for God and the earth and the rivers and the mountains and, everything that makes us who we are. And, just like give the proper respect to our ancestors, and may we all like strive to return to that understanding and that wisdom. And that's what I think the Shipibo tradition is helping us to do, is to remember what our ancestors knew and what is available for us to know and what you now do know. And that's, the vision for the Ayahuasca Foundation too.
Unbelievable. You guys are incredible. I absolutely love this. Well, if you guys didn't want to pop on another point, we can wrap it for this one. And Bo, we look forward to everything that you got going in the future, man. Carlos, can't thank you enough. I mean, every time. This is just so damn cool. Again, so grateful, Bo, that you did this. Carlos, thank you again for what you're doing. So many people have reached out.
Ayahuasca Foundation.
Yeah.
Yes.
And all the ways, of course, to find both gentlemen located down in the show notes, as well as Nick's album. So make sure that you guys check that out for sure. And shout out Nick. So, gentlemen, thank you again. Thank you so much.
Nice. Thanks so much again for putting this together, and awesome to see you again, Bo. So glad that everything went so well for you.
I cannot thank both of these gentlemen so much for the roles that they're playing in being able to facilitate this conversation for people. Bo, thank you for sharing your story with everyone. Carlos, thank you for changing my buddy's life. This has been just an incredible journey for everyone, and thank you all for listening and watching this, for the insight that it provided, and I hope that you feel called to do something like this if it's something that aligns with you. And definitely check the show notes, guys. So again, Bo's Instagram is located down there. Go ahead and throw him a shout out if you feel compelled to, and the ayahuascafoundation.org, it's located down there as well if you would like to embark on this kind of journey for yourself. So again, guys, thank y'all so much for listening. Let's get to these resource links, and we'll call it a day here. So Food Forest Abundance, guys, get your freedom from fear on, located down in the show notes. Libsyn, if you'd like to start your own podcast, highly recommend anybody who feels that they want to do that, do it. It's the coolest damn thing I've ever done. Highly, highly recommend it. And that link will give you 2 months free, so it's a good start. Also, Amazon, if you're going to feed that beast at all, run it through our link. It's a normal browser as far as Amazon's concerned, but it helps the show, so it helps us, which is wonderful. And thank you guys so much for giving back. Also, Opus, the Organization for Paranormal Understanding and Support, located down in the show notes as well. Check that thing out. Also, check out the call to action, guys. Again, don't ask for help. I'm asking for help now. Check out the call to action. You'll know more about what I mean when I say that. And thank you all who have so far participated in that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, and also the last link down there is going to be expandingrealitypodcast.com. That's where links to all the socials are, merchandise, Too Hot for YouTube. All of the lives are replayed there, guys. All the collaboration shows. If you'd like to become an expansive insider, there's a huge project that I've got going with Dave from Gen Z, and it is amazing. So definitely check that out. And if you just want to contribute to the show, Random Acts of Kindness, it's a link down there as well. This is a value for value system. So if you guys feel compelled to do that, I'm absolutely grateful for everything. So thank you guys so much. So go out into this beautiful place this week, guys, and y'all just pick up a piece of litter, smile, and be nice to everybody that you come across. Go ahead and buy somebody a coffee or a meal and line around you. It's a small little thing that makes massive ripple effects out into the collective. While you're out there raising the hell out of that vibe, and I love you for it, get the fuck out of the left-hand lane. If you got somebody behind you wanting to pass, that is a great way to raise the vibe. And above all and anything else, guys, you know what I'm going to say here. Y'all go out into this beautiful place, whatever the hell it is, and y'all just be good to one another. Thank you so much for listening and watching. We'll see y'all next time.